Those of you, divas, who are wondering if the earth is actually going to split and want the truth about 3D and 5D timelines, you have come to the right place because I have all of the dish, all of the information, all of what it is actually going to look like. First of all, Boujee Heel Diva. The timeline divergence is real, but it's not scary. It is sacred. And you get to choose your reality right now. And I always say, if you're listening to this, you've chosen 5D. But let's go deep today because the questions are rising more and more. Is the earth really splitting? Will there be two realities and two timelines? How are we leaving people behind? What happens to the world and to our bodies and to those who are asleep? And what I want you to know is that you're not crazy for wondering. And the truth is even more miraculous than you think because, yes, something big is happening, but it's not the left behind Hollywood bullcrap. No one's floating away, no one's getting left behind. And what we are going to experience is an energetic divergence. And it's happening right before your eyes. So, let me say something. The earth is splitting, but it's not what you think. When we talk about the splitting of the earth, we're not talking about two floating planets in different directions. We're talking about a frequency divergence. And so if you think about it from a frequency lens, and we take two radio stations who are broadcasting at two different wavelengths, same planet, different programming. So one station, 3D FM, is the fear channel. Scarcity, control, survival, power over others, blame, shame, hustle, division. Okay? Then you've got the 5D station, which is the joy station. And this is broadcasting unconditional love, freedom, joy, abundance, oneness, sovereignty, and self responsibility. And so the split is actually happening right now. It's not in the sky, it's very subtle, but it is with the choices that you make, the thoughts that you think, with the frequency that you're embodying. And both right now, timelines are existing simultaneously. And it's all about which one you choose to experience. So, the split happened. I'm going to give you some timelines. When did the split happen? Right? It's not new. It initially began splitting decades ago, but it became undeniable in 2012. This was a vibrational tipping point, and it was the beginning of the end for the old matrix. And then in 2020, what they thought was going to be a nice reset, what they thought was going to make the world worse, actually accelerated the separation. One, because the earth is like, baby, I am rising to fifth density. I am going to have a higher vibration. You're coming or you're not, right? And then more people in 2020 decided to work on themselves because with the isolation, people had to work within. They had to focus on themselves. They had to hear the noise. They cleared out shadows. They did all of this work. And so they think illusions got louder and fear got thicker and the world was shook because the timelines were destabilizing, but it didn't. It actually rose and accelerated more people waking up. And so now in 2025 and beyond, at the time of this recording, we are in a lock in phase where every day, every decision, every frequency calibration is anchoring you either more deeply into the new earth or pulling you back into the gravity of the old. So it's like one foot in, one foot out. And this is why things feel very intense. This is why you feel timelines are closing. Like there's multiple timelines, there's old timelines, there's things that people are experiencing that are affecting a lot more than people in this group and some people in other groups. Like there's just so much happening right now. And it feels like there's two different realities, even though people could be living in the same house, same country, same conversation. And you can't argue with anyone because you're not wrong and they're not wrong. You're just on two different wavelengths, two different realities. And so, what you get to remember here is acceptance is huge. Except if you have friends, if you have family members, and maybe they're not as quote unquote awake as you are. One is not better than the other. You just let them be on whatever path they need to be on, and you be the example. You be the person that's going to continue to be in love and joy. You be the person who's creating your reality and focusing forward. You do that, and you will see things shift. I think about after the election, we're talking about the November election between Harris and Dumpy Pants. And so, one of the biggest things that happened right after the election is you will notice that the melanated community stepped out. They were like, okay, this is what you wanted. This is what you voted for, even though we know that that's not what they voted for. We know there was a lot of manipulation. We know that she probably won about 70% of the vote, but hey, not my business. Okay. So the melanated community is just, it was an instant. The 4 a.m. club, there was a lot of women that woke up that night and felt like, that morning, and was like, something's different, something's off, something's weird. Also, there's a group of people that woke up and said, we're going to mind our own business over here, and we're not going to protest, and we're not going to do all these things, rah, 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 F around, you will find out, but we're not going to be here to do all of the standing in the front lines and, taking it, like gathering people together and doing all of that stuff. We're just not. And it's very similar to the 100 monkey syndrome, because there was no talk, there was no discussion, there's no like melanated people Twitter where we like told everybody, stand down, don't do this. No, it was just like, we're resting. We've decided that we are not going to be in this. We're going to focus on ourselves. We're going to focus on our, all of the things. We're not going to fall into rage bait. We're not going to fall into all of these things that they want to do to rile us up and make us feel like there's no win, because we know we're going to always be okay. And this is where you get to be. You get to remember that no one controls how you think, feel, or believe. You have power over that. So, what will the frequency look like? What will the earth look like as it rises in frequency? It's happening right now. So, as the earth rises in frequency, and it is rising, you will see the earth bloom right here in the middle of the old one. So you'll see new earth start to bloom. And so what you'll notice, and I want you to notice it, and if you're noticing it, you've got to take a picture of this podcast and comment and tag me. But have you been noticed systems based on control are collapsing? Structures that rely on force are glitching. And people are detaching from the grind culture, competition with each other, self-abandonment. What is happening as well, and you'll see this more, nature is becoming more communicative. Children are arriving with insane talents and gifts. Time is bending. Days will feel super, super fast. I know that's happening for me. For some people, it could feel really long. Or they feel like they disappear. It's like, wait, what? It's already the end of the month. I feel like it's the first of the month. What happened? What's going to start rising is micro civilizations of light, businesses, cities, communities where they're energetically sovereign, intuitive, joy-driven, creative, collaborative, unshakably abundant. You can walk into a cafe and feel the difference. You'll work with clients and know that they're on the same wavelength. And some parts of the world are literally going to look brighter, feel more fluid, sound harmonious. Not because of the location changing, but because you changed. And what's going to happen to our bodies? Let's talk about the bodies. The human body is already evolving. I have so many podcasts about this, but you'll see. But it's not just through genetics, it's through frequency recalibration. And that's what I do, frequency calibrator here. As you move into higher timelines, as the earth moves into the lighter 5D frequency, your body releases density. So you'll start to crave different foods, gentle movement, more rest. You won't be able to tolerate chaotic environments emotionally or physically. Your senses will get sharper. You may feel light codes in your skin, hear tones, taste energy. You'll heal faster, feel deeper, access deeper knowing through your cells, not just intuition. This is why so many people are experiencing what we call ascension symptoms: dizziness, fatigue, emotional waves, aches, pains, random. Because your body is literally shedding old coding that will not come with you. And soon the body itself is going to become a conduit for divine transmission, a conduit for light. And you won't just be a channel, you'll be a presence, a portal. People will feel you. And so, what about your family, your friends, and people who aren't awake? And this is a big one. What if the people I love are on a different timeline? First of all, it's not your job to drag anyone with you. Your anchoring job, right? You are ascension anchors, is to anchor in your light so solidly that it leaves a frequency trail and people can choose to walk with you if they desire. What you will notice is that relationships will fall away, relationships that aren't no longer aligned, and it will feel the peaceful falling away. It won't be like jerking people out of your life. You'll see a lot of people are getting divorced right now. They're like, this is not my partner, this is not my person, it doesn't feel right in this energy. Those things are happening, yes. And also, people are shifting. They're like, wow, I'm happier, I'm more joyful. And you're like, oh, my partner is too, and he used to be grumpy pants, I don't understand. And it's because of you, because of your shifting. Some people are meant to awaken later. And when chaos cracks open their heart, when they got the lessons that they came here to learn, when they, closed different karma loops, or when they decided to integrate certain shadows or live out a different version of something that they maybe lived out in a different timeline, like that's what they're meant to do. But a lot of people are watching you and they're waiting for your embodiment of this frequency that gives them the permission to embody it as well. So no more dimming your light to stay relatable. No more hiding yourself for keep people to be comfortable. No more delaying your joy, because you are delaying the shift that that person was going to get, watching you rise, watching you lead, and watching you hold new earth so clearly that they can't not go with you. Now, of course, more children are at higher frequency anyway. They're automatic entries into the fifth D, right? If we want to call it that way. But other than that, like, allow people to have their path, whatever path that is. You focus on love, loving who they are, not needing them to change to make you feel better, and you will see how this just shifts and becomes just even more expansive. If you want more podcasts to talk about what this shift will look like and what it'll feel like and different things like that, I have so much more I could say. But I feel like this is the perfect place to end, because the thing about what we're doing in La Lumière is it's a frequency environment. It's for anchoring in the 5D reality. And see, when we normalize miracles, time bending, intuition sharpening. You aren't just talking about the fifth dimension or fifth density, you're living it, you're breathing it, you're walking it. And so La Lumière is your daily dose of the new earth timeline. You don't have to wait, you don't have to hope. You just press play and your field is shifting. You don't figure it out, you remember. And if you're listening to this and your whole body is saying, yes, this is it, then welcome home. The link is in the show notes. So let me wrap this up in a second and say, look, the earth is splitting, but not from fear and frequency and love. You don't need to escape the 3D. You're listening to this, so you're already in 5D frequency. You're not late. You won't be left behind. You're right on time to claim your space. And so I want you to take a picture of this episode, tag me at i.m.thealignedsoul. Say, I choose my highest timeline now. Hashtag 5D living. Give this a 5-star review because it'll get this episode into more hands, this entire podcast into more hands of more amazing people. So keep it bougie, stay healed, and be divine, Diva. I love you, and I am sending you so much love.